Okay, here we are. Ooh, this microphone's on high intensity. It really can. It's a masterful device. Yes, it's unbelievable. It can hear every little wrinkle. It can hear every little wrinkle. Well, today, there's a lot that happened last night. Oh my God. Oh. The special prosecutor last night released a 388-page report of their findings of President Biden's storage of special compartmentalized top secret documents. And they found, that it was just scattered all over the place. And they showed pictures. I don't know if I captured any of those pictures. I probably didn't. I have one. There we go. That's it. And they put a circle around it. Docs evidence convincingly shows Biden knew notebooks and had classified information in it. And he knowingly had it in there. Which means he broke the law, and he knew he broke the law. The bad part about Biden, the Biden incident with the documents, and it was in 3 different places, meaning his garage next to his Corvette, in a very secure garage. It just had a flip open, garage thing that some 10-year-old could get in. But it was in 2 other office locations. So, and he's very cooperative. They're here and they're there, and, my staff did it. Yeah, bullshit. Don't blame it on the staff. That's a pretty low blow. Yeah, blame it on the munchkins that are trying to make a living. You knew exactly what you were doing. And he had documents dating back, 20 or 30 years when he was a senator. Well, you're not allowed to have any documents when you're a senator. None. 0. Period. You go into a SCIF, which is a special compartmentalized secure location, which is acronym for SCIF, which I forget the exact words, but that's what it means. And it's under armed guard, and you go in there and you either look at a screen or you have, documents on a desk that you can read. And then when you're done reading them, you put them back in the folder and you put them back on the whatever, and then you leave the SCIF. Well, he was, folding it up and putting it in his jacket. And he had all kinds of stuff that he swiped from the SCIF. You're breaking the law when you do that. The purpose of the SCIF is you look at it in the SCIF, you leave it in the SCIF, you leave the SCIF, and that's it. Well, he had all kinds of stuff when he was a senator. He had all kinds of stuff when he was a vice president. And unfortunately, the Presidential Records Act does not cover vice presidents, only presidents. So when he was vice president, he couldn't say, I declare that unclassified, because you can't do that when you're vice president. So he doesn't have that cover. The other thing is that when you have, in the Trump case, for example, now I'm not an attorney, I'm just a character that listens to the news. Most people don't, but I do. So when he moved his office from the White House, his private office from the White House to his office location in Mar-a-Lago, which was the basement, basically. They have a basement down there with a, it's almost like a practice stage, but it's in the basement. It's below the main level. And it had a locked door on it. And remember, he's the president, so he has Secret Service all over there. Whether he's there or not, there's Secret Service to protect his residents. So you didn't have any Secret Service watching, Biden's Corvette when he was vice president. Now, now he's president, he has Secret Service detail. But there was a time when he was vice president, and he had all these records laying all over the place. So anyway, this special prosecutor, Heard, finished his work. And, he had all kinds of investigators helping him. They didn't go in there with armed guards, 7 years ago, whenever the hell it was. Could we come in and look at your garage? Oh, yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah. They invaded Mar-a-Lago with 26 people with machine guns, okay, semi-automatic weapons. AR-16s, I think they call them. And they were standing there at the front gate, making sure no one can come in, no one could come and go. It was done at nighttime. And they raided his house. And they searched it for like 9 hours. No one could come and go. The staff that runs Mar-a-Lago were forced to be outside. And I remember them complaining because it was like 90 degrees. It was hotter than hell. And they have to stand outside waiting for these characters to get done. And they wouldn't allow these people to watch them, go through this stuff. And they rummaged through every damn thing, including Melania Trump's, underwear drawer. I mean, give me a break. So it was a political hit job, obviously. And he's being prosecuted like crazy for the same exact thing that Biden's report said he did. But, and Trump basically says, hey, I got the Presidential Records Act. I didn't do anything wrong. My staff, not my staff, the GSA, the General Services Administration, basically packed up his, he doesn't pack up his stuff and move. He's like a president, yesterday, and they move him out in one day. He's, I don't know where the hell he was. He wasn't in Washington, and he wasn't in Mar-a-Lago necessarily. He could have been at his golf course playing golf in Bedminster. So the GSA was ordered, this is normal routine, to pack up the office and move him to wherever the hell he wants to move to. And it was Mar-a-Lago. So they moved all this stuff into the basement in Mar-a-Lago, and they just piled all the boxes, one by one in Mar-a-Lago. He wasn't there. He was playing golf in Bedminster probably. He probably wasn't even in the state. And that's what they did. So, and the GSA doesn't sift through every folder to find out what, they don't look at anything. They just put it in a box. If you had a ham sandwich on there, it went in a box. That happened to me one time. I had a sandwich. I was being moved from Miami, to Tampa. And so I had a sandwich on one of the boxes, and they had, and the move, because it was, a bank, and they were moving me as a senior officer from one location to another, from Miami to Tampa. And that was, the deal I got. They bought the house I had in Miami, and they financed the house I had in Tampa, that I bought in Tampa. It took a while to get the house, so the stuff was kind of like in temporary storage for about 4 months. Anyway, so I had a sandwich on a box. It was a marvelous sandwich. So I'm eating the sandwich, the half of the sandwich, and I reached back for the other half. It's gone. I packed it. I said, "Where's my sandwich?" And it was like 4 boxes ago. It was like gone. It was in the truck. That's a funny thing. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. If you had a ham sandwich on there, it'd be gone. Anyway, the GSA goes through there, and they pack it up good. I mean, they have, lots of boxes, and they have, 4 or 5 people, 8 people come in, and they go through like locals through Oklahoma. They pile nothing. Every shelf is clean as a whistle because they have to make ready for the new president to move in. And, everything has to be cleaned out. So that's what happened. And, Trump, he didn't look through the stuff. Anyway, so that's how some classified information ended up in Trump's basement, is because the GSA packed it and it just went down there. And, you think he's going to go open up, 100 boxes? And, some of them were marked and most of them weren't. And we're talking about, they go upstairs and downstairs and the private quarters and they pack up everything, And then the cleaning people come in and they clean everything so that when the new guy walks in, it is spanking clean, except for a personal 1-page note that one president leaves, the prior president leaves the new president. And that's a private message. And it was left in a certain desk drawer. And other than that, man, they clean up everything. And they wipe it clean, and there's not a speck of dust anywhere. And, no fountain pens, nothing. Everything is just, and then the new guy moves in, And then the staff, hello, how you doing? I mean, that's how one president, so there's an act. There's an act of Congress. It's called the Presidential Records Act. And that basically says that everything that's in the president's private office is essentially property of the president, and including where he goes to. And the archivist can then, communicate back and forth with the president to make sure that the archivist has, all the official records that the president had, when the day he moved out. And so they go back and forth to, figure that out. And anyway, by Supreme Court, anything and everything that gets moved into his new place is his in perpetuity. So that's what I heard or read. Biden doesn't have that cover. Now, I don't know how this prosecution is going to go, prosecuting Trump, with what just happened with this Presidential Records Act. To me, just intuitively, that entire case should be just dropped. Because you can't prosecute one guy and not the other guy. Either that or prosecute Biden. Put them under the same prosecution. You can't do one and not the other. And that's exactly what's happening now. And so that was last night. And then there's another lady that got on there and said, if Biden should be prosecuted under this 388-page report, but they didn't prosecute him because he's a nice little old man that doesn't have any memory, and he's incompetent to be tried, then they ought to prosecute him or remove him from office with the 25th Amendment because he's not capable of doing his job. That's what the 25th Amendment's all about. So one or the other, there's no halfway. Either prosecute him like you do Trump, or you remove him from office according to the 25th Amendment. And then, of course, then you know who's president. Kamala. And then Kamala is the one. And then you got to figure out, well, who's going to be, you're just going to wipe out the slate and start out with the governor of California, because he's been hanging around, looking like he wants to be president. So he'd be running against Trump. That's my guess. The governor of California versus the former president of the United States. That would be the election. And God knows how that would turn out. Newsom or Trump? How about that for a ballot contest? And California is in great shape, right? Under the governor. But, he is a slick willy guy. He's, you remember the governor of Florida had a debate with Newsom. And he did pretty, our governor did pretty good. DeSantis, pretty much gave him a shellacking. And when he went off into his fancy dance, when our guy was pointing out what a disaster California is, it used to be a beautiful state, and now it's a disaster with, all these homeless people all over the streets. You don't see that in Florida. I never, driving around, I don't see homeless people anywhere. They're not in the airports. They get locked up. And the homeless people don't hang out here because they know they get locked up. So they go to the places where they don't get locked up. It's as simple as that. So that's no quick and dirty answer for that. So that's what happened, last night. Nice quiet night. Oh boy, so we have a Super Bowl coming up. Taylor Swift sends a cease and desist order to a student that's tracking her private jets. I don't know if she's got more than one. She's in constant state of fear because these people are tracking her. Well, I guess I'd be in a state of fear too if I had some, jerkweed tracking me. Why are you tracking me? Yeah, it's just for the fun of it. Because they have the ability, we all have the ability, if you have the equipment, it's a $200 piece of equipment, and you can track the pinging, because these planes ping. They have a ping, and they send out that ping, twice a second, ping, 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 something like that, and it sends out a signal so that they... and it's a specific signal so that they know, what plane it is. Like if you're flying in, the air traffic controllers zero in on that pinging as it comes in and glides in for a landing or takes off or whatever. All sizable planes have, these devices. Anyway, so she's all nervous because this guy has one of those radios, and they're tracking her. Oh, look who just landed in whatever, Tokyo, for example. That plane is in Tokyo because she's doing a concert, I believe, today in Tokyo. And today is almost tomorrow, So that's the problem. They're ahead of us in time. So she's got about 14 hours or so between the end of her last thing with her, show, and then she's got to run off, get in her plane, take off, and get to Las Vegas, Nevada, for the Super Bowl. And it's about a 14-hour flight. And, there's about a 14-hour time difference between when her show is over and when the Super Bowl starts. So she'll get there. The question is, does she get there in time to see all of the Super Bowl? I'm sure during the pregame shows we'll hear all about that. I'm just giving you a warm-up if you haven't heard about that. Okay, here's a new moon that's being prepared for launch, it's like a lunar rover kind of a doodad. I don't know much about anything else about that. It's just a picture of it before it gets enclosed in a shroud and then sent. Here's a little... You can find these things in the ocean floor, and it looks like now it's either a molten piece of metal that by the time it got to the bottom of the ocean, it formed a nice little ball, or it's like a ball bearing that came out of some vehicle and is on the ocean floor. Now, the tricky part of it is we have picked up a few of these on the bottom of the ocean floor and put it through a mass spectrometer, which is a device that I'm familiar with. It's a very careful instrument. It's about the size of a big copier, or it used to be. Now you can wear it on your wrist. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, this was analyzed with a mass spectrometer, and it's made of a compound that is not known on this earth. It is from not this earth. So I think you would say that it's from outer space. Would be a reasonable way of saying, what do you mean by that? Well, that's what's meant by that. So this, which is the size of, let's say, a quarter or a nickel, something like that. They found that on the ocean floor, and it is not from this earth. It's not on our periodic table. It is a metal of an unknown source. So it came from somebody else. So that's factual. That's not unfactual. All right. So that's food for thought. You can go read about that if you want to. That's all I know. All right. Here is... Apparently, we're running our car, our Model Y Tesla, at 98% efficiency, which is better than 82% of all the people that are driving Model Y Teslas. So we're proud to have climbed over the hump and come over to the 98% point of our efficiency. And our phantom drain. Okay, the second graph here. This is a histogram of phantom drain of our battery. And that's miles in a given hour. And our phantom drain is at the rate of 0.72 miles. That's less than a mile. So in 2 hours, that'd be about a mile and a half. 2 hours. So in 20 hours, that would be 10 miles. So overnight, just to give you an order of magnitude of what that means. So if you turn off the car and it says 260 miles of range, then the next day, let's say we didn't get in the car until noon the next day, the range might say 250 instead of 260. So it wiped out 10 miles worth of range because of our phantom drain. And what that means is that all the systems that operate in the car are draining our battery even though we have the car off. Because I have something in the car, for example, that will make sure the cabin temperature doesn't exceed 90 degrees. If Marilyn parks the car, or I park the car, in the sun, and the cabin temperature would then rise. And if it rose to like 95 degrees, the air conditioner would automatically get excited and cool the cabin temperature to about 85 degrees. And then it would turn off. And then the cabin temperature would then rise again because of the sun. And then the air conditioner would then come on when it hit 95 degrees and bring it down about 10 degrees, and it would constantly go up and down during the heat of the afternoon to keep the cabin temperature from exceeding 90 degrees. So that when Marilyn gets out of the bank, she doesn't open up the car and whoosh, you have 150 degree air, and the steering wheel's so hot you can barely touch it, and all this stuff. People put all kinds of stuff in the window to protect that. Anyway, so that's part of our phantom drain. So on average, it's about 0.72 miles, per hour of battery drain, phantom drain. Okay? That's what that panel's all about. These are things that come right off of your Tesla. There's a Tesla app that measures all, and tracks all this stuff. So this is the state of the battery right now, or whenever I did this yesterday. And you see phantom drain 0.7. We just talked about that. The battery is at 78% whenever I took this shot. New, meaning there's new software available for download whenever I connect my car through my phone, because we don't have Wi-Fi in the structured garage. We park in a parking garage because we're in a high-rise, not so high-rise, 150-foot building. We're on the 8th floor of a condominium-style building. Anyway, so there's no Wi-Fi, so I have to turn on the Wi-Fi with my phone, the hotspot, and then that'll connect to Fremont, California through the internet and download the software into the car through my phone. How about that for a little technology there? I was how am I going to get that software in the car? Hotspot. So I connect my car through the hotspot on my phone. And it takes, 15, 20 minutes to download the software. And about, about 5 megabytes per second, I guess it is. All right, enough of that. So there we go. So we have the rated range of the range in my battery, or the Tesla battery, and the estimated range. Now the software estimates the range. Now the rated range should be 1 to 227, but the estimated range is 223. So the safest thing to do is to use the scale on the left, particularly when it starts to get like 20 miles. You don't want to have, this thing bipsic, and I think it's 20 miles and it's really 2 miles. So always use the estimated range when examining how much range you have in your battery. That's something that you learn when we've driven a car now for 33 months of a 36-month lease. That anniversary is in 2 days, on the 11th of February, when we make this lease payment on the 11th of February. That puts us down into March, April, May. That's 3 months before the lease maturity. All right. Just let you know how close we are to that. We have about 17,000 miles on the car, which is way under mileage because we have 10,000 mile lease. So we could be at 30,000 miles at this point, or 27,000 miles, for example. And then but we're at 17. We're just slightly more than half of the mileage that we could have had. That's why our tires look brand new, because we only have 17,000 miles on the tires. Tires look like they're brand new, actually. All right, driving efficiency, 98%. We saw that on another graph. And look at this. One of these numbers is easy to understand. The other one, you just have to get used to. Miles per gallon, but there's a little e there because it's electric miles per gallon. So what the computer does is says, let's convert, how much driving you're doing, and compare it to a gasoline car that runs, a similar weight car and similar size car, and 25 miles per gallon and all that. And so, since we're using electricity instead of gas, how does that compare? Well, we're running at about 132 miles per gallon, as opposed to like 25 miles per gallon. So we're really very efficient. The car is very efficient, and we're getting the equivalent of 132 miles per gallon if this was a gas car instead of an electric car. And there's no shortcuts with the Tesla, meaning it's not like you're driving some little tin can, that gets 0 to 60, in 2 hours. When you push down on the accelerator, it goes ahead like one of these little electric cars. When you're a kid, you saw them on the track, and you zoom your controller, and the car goes down the track. Well, that's how this car drives. When you push on the accelerator, this sucker jumps, and it's 4-wheel drive. So there are not many cars that can keep up with it. When you step on the accelerator, everybody else is in your rearview mirror. I've had a couple of wise guys, when you're up, you're sitting there, you got a guy next to you, to the right of you, and we're sitting there at a red light, and we're the first cars in the red light, and the guy looks over to me, and I look at me, and I look at him back, or her. I think it was her lady actually, and she does one of these things like, I said, okay. So the light turned. So now we're watching the green light, and when it turns green, I pushed down on it, is all the way, and I left everybody in the dust, including her. And she was driving, some fancy Mustang or something or other. I went up to 55 miles an hour and stopped because the speed limit was 55. And so I went 0 to 55 really fast, and everybody was behind me, including this lady. Oh, it was funny. And then she zooms past me, but I wasn't going faster than the speed limit. So, I was, she had a fast lesson in don't mess with Tesla. Don't mess with Texas, although this car was made in Fremont, California. If I got another one today, it would come from Austin, Texas, in that plant. All right, so here's another Tesla graph, and it's showing, Model Y. You see down at the bottom here? Whoops. Model Y, there's my phone number, Wilson. And the software version is 2023.44.30.8. So you look on this, that's purple. 2023.44.30.8. So I'm in this column that says 35% of everybody that's driving a Model Y has this software, at the moment I pulled this graph. Who the hell would know that? But that's all the electronic age and the Tesla and the computers they have in Fremont, and all this stuff is, Tesla knows this just as well as I do. And what they told, the little beep came up on my car, and it said the next, you see the 20.1, the next biggest yellow, they want me to move from this one to this one. So when I put my car, using the phone with the hotspot, which I mentioned earlier, the firmware, which is a software program that operates the car, is going to get upgraded from this number to the year 2024.2.2.1. So I'm going to move over here to the 20%. So I'll be from here to there. And then this 20.1 will, inch up just a little tiny bit. And this one will come down a little bit because I would shift over when I do that either later today or tomorrow. Actually, I have the car all day today. Marilyn is off at a luncheon somewhere. So that's what that graph's all about. There we go. There's Marilyn. There's Jimmy. February 9th. I pulled this at, you can see there, 9:18 a.m. today. And this is a few years ago when we were at the car show. Maybe the last car show. I can't, the people that used to manage the car show, from a media standpoint, they changed media companies. And I called, and they're not there anymore. So I couldn't get this year or last year, I couldn't get a media pass. And I didn't want to go all the way over there and not be able to get in. I had press passes, general passes. I'll show you. Oops. They're hanging on a door over here. And they're like, oops, sorry. There we go. So here's our press passes there you go, for Jimmy and Marilyn. Press. The Observer newspaper. It's on both sides. Anyway, so you hang this around your neck. Whoops. Anyway, so these are our press passes. Generally, when we just want to, when there's an event going on, we have our cameras and we put those on so they know we're taking pictures for the media. Online, publication, whatever. The Observer newspaper, we're lifelong press pass people. Anyway, so now I don't have my connection. I think her name was Zimmerman or something like that, Zucker. And she's not there anymore. She does not represent them. They got another company. And she said she'd forward my information to the other company. And I never heard from them. So I never got press passes. I tried to, who are they? And I forget what happened, but it was a year ago. And we didn't end up with press passes. So now I don't know who's doing it. So maybe I'll try her again this year because it's coming up in a couple of weeks. And it's usually in February. This particular year was February 9th. It was early that year in 2020. I assume it's going to be like in a week or two. So Monday, I'll get on that and send it to the people that used to manage it and see if maybe they got the contract back again. Maybe the new people didn't do a good job last year. Anyway, so see what happens. Worst case is we don't go. It's a lot of walking. So it's only they do it at the Boca Hotel, on the grounds, and they have also an air show. It's an aero. It's in a hangar. It's a Boys and Girls Club thing, and they have it on Friday night. And I didn't see anything with it. It would be, in theory, it could be tonight, for all I know. So by Sunday, in a couple of days, I'll find out if it happened, this weekend. Anyway, and I don't think Jay Leno has been here in a few years, so maybe he comes back this year. We met Jay Leno briefly, very briefly, at the show a couple years ago. Got a picture with Marilyn, with Jay Leno. I tried to do a selfie with all of us, and it didn't turn out that good. But the one I got with Marilyn is good. Publisher quality, so to speak. It was like I took pictures of two celebrities, Marilyn and Jay Leno. Turned out to be a pretty good picture. You can go on, if you go on 4161100.com, right here. This, you see that logo with the camera looking thing? That's my logo. Wilson Picks. I press that. That's 416-1100.com. I just touched it. And there it is. That was a stunning picture I took at the International Polo Club in South Florida. Look at that. Where the sticks click. There's a special name for that, which I do not remember. And I don't know. Oh, there's Jay Leno. That's why I picked this up. There's smiling Jay with his sleepy eyes and the huge chin. And there's Marilyn. There's Happy Marilyn. The 14th annual Concours d'Elegance. This is happened to be at the Boca Aviation hangar party, February 7th, 2020. There you go. And I took pictures of the entire event. Here's, we got there early, so there was no one there, except they were all setting up around the cocktail area. See, Boys and Girls Club. And you can see some people, in there. There's not many people like us. It's mostly people that are setting up their booths in the back. And then the cars are in the front. And then you have the airplanes, as you can see, lined up. A lot of jets. February 7th, 2020, 6 to 9 p.m. Friday night, it's the Boca Raton Airport Hangar Party. That's, let's see. Here's a bunch of categories. If I touch anyone, see, here's, nope, this would be the car show that's on, it would be Sunday. There we go. There you go. This is the 15th annual. This is the next year. This one here's on February 9th, right? So 2 days later. Yes, here's the 7th, and then this one over here is the 9th. And here's the one for, I think this is one we didn't go to. I had it all set up, and I think if we go here, there's no pictures. Yeah, it's just a couple of test pictures there because I created the web page, but we didn't go because we couldn't. Let's see, I'll go back. Touch this one. There we go. So I should take that off because we didn't actually go. We have no photos in that one. All right, so let's touch this one. This one should be loaded with photos. There we go. Yeah, see? That's a whole bunch of them. I can touch any one of them. It was very nice. This is like if you wanted to buy the photo or not. So you can just page through. There he is. There's Jimmy with a Corvette. That's the same Corvette that I owned when I was a young lad. That's a 1959 Corvette. 1959. But mine was white, with a blue panel. This is red with a white panel. That's how Chevrolet offered with the big fat white wall tires, those. And single headlight. I replaced the right headlight, which is the one here closest to you, with a aircraft landing light. It had 1 million candle power, and I had a little switch on it, and it was a 20 amp light. So if I was in the open highway, I could put that sucker on, and you could see a deer 2 miles away. So you're running down the highway at 85 miles an hour. You didn't want to run into some beast, in Long Island, New York, where I lived. Anyway, so here's a bunch of pictures. And there you go. There's the other side of it. And I remember these little two bumpers there. And you can see the Corvette logo right there. I have a badge somewhere in my... Oh, there it is. That badge right there. They actually had a badge, a patch, that because you were a member of the Corvette Club. If you paid, $20 a year to be a member of the Corvette Club. And of course, if you had a Corvette back then, in 1959, the car cost about $6,000. And it was the same price as a Mercedes-Benz. And my father made... the Corvette was a nice car, but if you had bought the Mercedes, it would be worth about $300,000 today. Oh, boy. Anyway, you see the towers in the back, behind us. There's Marilyn and Jimmy. There's the, because you had the press passes, I could get right on the putting green there and take pictures of the presenters. I don't see Jay Leno in there. Some motorcycle. It was a car show. So he had all kinds of. I don't see any celebrities there that I recognize. So these people, they polished up their car. So here's where you could sit down at a table and have some munchies, because all along that back tent area, they served tenderloin and pieces of fine fish and all kinds of very nice stuff. And you see that there's a credential hanging around his neck. So when you come in the door as a media person, they give you one of those. You'd stick it. I'd stick it on my clip here. I wouldn't put that thing around my neck. I have my own thing around my neck. I put my keys on here so I don't lose them when I leave the apartment. Anyway, so that's from inside this gated area to keep the riffraff out. I mean, these people pay, like $500 for the day, but because you're media, I can get in there and, avoid the price penalty. There's some nice cars, pictures of people go around. It seems like them. Yeah, I get close. They're all... See, some have ribbons on them. So the people go through and they decide which ones are going to get a ribbon. And you got first, second, third place and all that. And these people polish this stuff. Look how polished all the chrome is. And there's not a speck of dust anywhere. All these wires are, been cleaned up and replaced, whatever. There's Jimmy again with the Corvette. There's the back end of it. Now, the next year, or the year before, I forget, there was 2 chrome bars, chrome attachments that went down the trunk. And that tells you whether it was a 1959 or a 1958. I think the 1960 was the beginning of the Stingray series. So this was the last one before the Stingrays. So I was very interested in seeing that, since I haven't seen it. There's Jimmy with his credentials and his camera and my hat. And you see around the rim of the hat, I have a metal badge for every year that I was there. And there's like 14 of them. And last year, I think the last 2 years, I've been able to get in there. Because I couldn't get a hold of the credential lady. I guess maybe if we're highly motivated one year, I'll just show up with my media credentials and see if they'll let me in. I don't know what that is. Austin Martin, maybe. See that? Whoops, this one had a ribbon on it. But there's some, millions. Oh, see, there's a Stingray. No, I don't know whether that's a 60 or a 63. Mine was a 59, but this is, like they changed it so in 60 it had a Stingray back end with like a regular car front end. So that's what happened with the 1960s. So for that whole 10-year period from 60 to 69, they created the Stingray, but they modified it a little bit at a time. That's Thunderbird. That was about the same period of time as I had the Corvette. See, now here's the Stingray with the Stingray front and the Stingray back. So this would, be, I think, 63 or later. And I don't see anything on the car to tell me. Yeah. So these are all, see, ribbon, all ribbon cars. They had the ribbons on the inside. And this is actually a British. See the steering wheel on the other side. And the people dress up, they're all suited up. They got their hats and stuff. So I took some pictures of the front ornaments. That's where we sat under the trees, and we got like hot dogs or something, and sat back in the shade and just put our cameras down and relaxed. It was a very enjoyable afternoon. That's when we were up mingling in the crowd, because it goes all the way around. This is the whole driving range of the Boca Hotel Resort. They do this on the driving range of the golf course. See, there's, a presenter in the back serving wine. You don't pay because you paid, extra $200 to enjoy this 3-hour feast. Abe and Louie's serving tenderloins. See, here this guy's making fresh pasta. I loved what they did. This is the Boca Resort. They had these little cups of, I don't know what that is. I think it's a tomato and a clammy thing, and it was really quite good. Oops, there's Jimmy with the Corvette again. Whoop. Oh, yes, this is... there you go. It's stirring up, like ground beef with sliced onions, tomatoes. They put it in a roll, and oh my God, you talk about a nice hot sandwich. I took a couple of pictures of him doing that. I told him my website. That's the end of the series. So if you wanted those pictures, you could get them for no charge. Interesting. Let's see what happens when I push the swipe down to exit. So this is like a slideshow, and it just takes you through the photos. And it goes to the next. There was a new way of me presenting these pictures. Anyone can go online and do this slideshow thing. See, and you can just touch the picture and then save it to your photos. Let's touch that picture. Whoops. Don't have much control over this. Oh, there we go. Save the photos. Look at this big old scale. They were like for sale. Oh, there's the Corvette again. You get it quick enough, you can download it. Yep, there's the Corvette logo. That's another shot of you see the hump? The steering wheel. Yep. That's Marilyn taking a selfie. And there's the presenters. They're talking about this and that. Everyone that got a prize, there's a plaque or something wrapped in this turquoise-looking box. All right, let's get out of that. Anyway, so that's 416-1100.com. You can go there, 416-1100.com. Let's try something else. www.4161100.com. Let's see if that'll take us to the site. Right there. Can't be found. Okay, so you need the hyphen in there. You cannot have a dot. No dots. Oops. Hit my glasses on the microphone, sorry. There you go. 416, I was just experimenting. I thought I reserved that one on the internet too, but apparently I didn't. I mean, I've had this website up there a long time. Real long time. Let's get out of this and get out of there. We'll go back to here. And let's see if we can go home. Yeah, we're home. I'll take you down the bottom here and you'll see we have like 26 million. 26 million, look at that. 411,000 visitors. And we were 963. We were number 3. Now, just to prove to you, I'm going to reload this page and we're going to go back down to this number. Now it's 964. So it counts, So I wasted a count because I did that twice. But it counts everybody that's there. 26 million. Can you imagine? I reset it in 2005. So, 18 years ago. So, but I started at 1, then it was 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we're at so it was up to like 15,000 or something, and I reset it because we renovated the entire site. Digital counter above displays the number of unique web page visitors since 2005, when the site was renovated and the counter was reset. So, now it's 2024. So next year it'll be 20 years ago. But we started, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One at a time. There was a globe here and it was rotating, and apparently that picture is corrupted because it's not displaying there. Every year I update this copyright information. Since 1990 we've been flopping around with these photos. And see, in 2005 we renovated the site, but in 1990 I started putting these on the internet. So, some family, Leonard Halley asked me to take, or his wife, asked me to take family pictures of them. So, and this family liked the pictures of that family. So they said, would you do the same thing with me and my kids? So that's Francine Fredericks and her 2 kids a long time ago. There's a cocktail party at a barbecue. Marilyn was there. There's some other. Now, when you click on that, It opens up all the party pictures. Coral Park High School reunion. I believe I was at this. I remember. Let's see. I don't know if I went to this one or the. There's a whole bunch. Yeah, I think I took that picture. That's a whole bunch of the people that she graduated with. There's a whole bunch of. Whoops. There's a whole bunch of the ladies. And Marilyn's right there in the striped shirt. And all her buddies that. There's one of her best friends right there. Who now has Alzheimer's. Another one of her friends right there in the middle. I don't know any of these people. The people she graduated with. And people that she graduated with, I know the guy in the end. And I don't know anyone else. Oops, sorry. So I took a bunch of portraits of group shots and more group shots. There's Marilyn seeing her buddies. Yeah, Marilyn's a happy lady. She's what you would say is one of the pretty ones. I mean, today she lights up a room. She just has. We're in our 70s. She walks in a room and boom. She's like a celebrity. Everyone, something happened to that picture. They're not all good pictures, but, they're pictures of somebody, and somebody may like that. I should actually take that one out because it's out of focus. So that one's pretty good. Different distances and the lighting is relatively... Anyway, so that's how this... let's see if I can get out of here. Oh my God. Yeah, so now we're back to, that's one party. That's the year before Coral Park High School 40th reunion. Yeah, I think I went to that one too. Different parties. Rebecca's 40th birthday party in DeKalb, Massachusetts. I don't think I went there. I think I let them have at it. Here's the 10th, zooming ahead, 2016, the 10th annual hangar party. I took a picture, and this is, I think, a Honda jet, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Let's click on it and see. Yeah, this is... And Jay Leno was there, so you can see a picture of Jay Leno. He's on the cover of the magazine, this big, thick magazine that's produced, Boys and Girls Club of Broward County. These are all like, the money shots. When you get the tower in the background, and the crowd, and the cars ride around this big circle, and they come out here, and you pop the picture right when there you go, with the ribbon. You got the tower in the background. I was standing there with these people and all the foo-foo people. Yeah, this is the $1 Million Club here. So here, these folks were the Boys and Girls Club people, and they were, whoops. Eesh. All right. We're done with that. You can go through there at your leisure. www.416-1100.com. And you can see all those pictures for yourself. Okay, what else is going on here? This is a nuclear fusion reactor. So, in a fission reactor, which is what all our reactors are in the United States and anywhere in the world except for this one. They're fission. You got nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Well, fission means that the nuclear material emits its radiation, and it's controlled with the neutron rods. Okay, keeping this simple, atomic talk. And you control that heat, and the heat boils water, and the steam, energizes the steam turbine. So that's basically. So the fission reactors are basically used as a heating source to boil water to create steam, and the steam drives the steam generators, and the generators produce electricity for cities. Well, in the world of nuclear fission, the rods, let's say, get used up. So the radioactive nature of the nuclear material, let's say, neutralizes and does not create any more energy to create heat, which creates the steam. So those rods then get replaced. So the nuclear material, gets expended. Let's use that word. In the world of nuclear fusion, which is what this is, there's no depletion of the nuclear material. The reactor actually creates more material than was there to begin with. So, and you control that fusion so that it doesn't explode. I mean, that's one of the problems with a fusion and a fission reactor. I mean, in a fission, they can explode too. So if the rods or the water, the cooling mechanism, whatever, then you have a meltdown. And we've had a few nuclear accidents. We had one in Japan. We had one in 3 Mile Island or whatever. So if for some reason or other management, the devices, people don't look at the alarms, that's 24/7 kind of a thing. And if you have some sloppy workers and things occur, and you got systems and the backup systems and the backup of the backup, but still, now today the computers are so, enhanced, it would be hard for that to happen. Knowing how efficient the computers are, because they don't take naps. They don't drink on the job. But anyway, so in these fusion reactors, you control the amount of fusion because they never run out of material, because in the fusion it actually produces material as the nuclear fusion is occurring. So when you have this fusion that's reacting, it actually creates material as it's operating. So what you want to do is you don't want it to run away. So you want it to be controlled. So you control it and it'll run forever, run for, 100 years. It just keeps running. So the only thing you got to do is keep it under control. So you keep it so that it doesn't get above 800 degrees or, some degrees, whatever the limit is, and you just keep it under control. So that's the difference between fusion and fission. In fission, the nuclear material gets expended, but in the fusion reactor, it creates material as it's fusing, so to speak. So you control the heat. The heat produces the steam, and the steam produces the generation. And it'll run, basically until the end of time. You end up with more material than you started with. That they know. And it's a very careful way to create that nuclear fusion reactor. And there is one right there that's operating. It's about 500 megawatts, I believe. So it's not a big one. It's not a multi-gigawatt. And I think they have two of them operating. And clean energy could be closer than ever after a nuclear fusion machine smashes a record, as far as how long it's been operating without any shutdowns or whatever. So that's what this is all about. You can look it up. Nuclear fusion reactor. It could be functioning in Germany or Australia or something like that. I don't think it's operating in the United States. But they're, they will duplicate this machine all over the world. And, everyone should make a lot of these, because you talk about cleaning up the atmosphere. No more smokestacks, just steam snacks, steam, things, because you have to control the fusion so that it doesn't run away with itself and end up, being a big hot mess of nuclear material, because it has nuclear material in there. Okay. Gosh, I've been yapping here for an hour and 17 minutes. It's time to say goodbye. We've talked about some pretty interesting topics. We spent a few minutes on my picture site. It's got a lot of nice pictures on there, and you can look at them, you can download them, or you can buy. We have the very best printers in the world. They've been tested. My host goes through, not every year, but like every other year, testing the printing companies, because they have 15 or 20, $30 million users like myself. I'm one of the bigger ones because I have 400 million pictures on my site. I went through a few of them. They're literally I didn't say that right. 400,000. A banker that finances big buildings. I get carried away with the commas. 450,000 pictures on that website. 450,000. Wow. But anyway, so I'm one of the earlier, and I'm one of the larger sites that they have. So they test out these printers to make sure the printers are really, really, really good. So when you order a canvas photo, it is really well done, and if you have it framed, they've got the best framers, they don't give this stuff away, but, you get a very good deal. If you want a picture on that site, you're going to be very happy with it. We guarantee it, I think. Oh, boy. I think if, you didn't like the picture, you send it back. And I think they'll redo it or whatever the heck you want. Look at this. I took some pictures. I captured some pictures. I didn't actually take them. Of some, look at this cat. That's a Maine cat. Maine Coon cat. The state of Maine has bred, it's the state cat. It's a large, very fluffy cat. Now, this is all fluffed up, with brushes and stuff. But look at the face on that guy. It's like a little lion. Oh, there's another one. So it's a bigger cat. The lens and everything you can. But it's a cat about I have a 20-pound cat, and it's a pretty good sized cat. This would be about 30 pounds. So it's about 50% bigger than the cat we have now. So when these guys are 14 years old. So when they die away, I told Marilyn, Mancoon is where I'm going. And I found a source in Kansas, would you believe it, that sells Mancoons, for $700 a cat, plus $150 for delivery. I don't know how they deliver them. But you get a 10-week-old cat for $700. It has all the shots and all the stuff, because they give you the cat when it's 2 months old. So it's not a little tiny baby, but it's still a young little beast. Maine Coon. That's drove Meryl crazy. Look at this one. Oh my God. Phew. It's a big cat. And they're very friendly and, gentle and all that. So I want to put a harness on that sucker with this little tiny cat and walk it around the apartment. So when it grows up, I can walk it outside. I saw one of these. There was a girl, walking this cat. It looked like a little lion. But, it stood up about, this high off the ground. It was, it grabbed a lot of attention. People were looking at it like crazy. So you got a bunch of little old ladies walking their little dogs, and I'm going to walk outside with this lion. Oh, boy. Hey, what else I got to do? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I'm going to I'm going to be quiet. And it's time for me to say, have a nice, this is Friday, so I may have a little chat with you tomorrow. Who the heck knows? If I can, I will. Like 10 o'clock maybe in the morning. So you have a great weekend. See what goes on this weekend. I don't know what's that. Oh, we're having dinner tonight at Chops. Yep, with our retired FBI lady. She's always tells a lot of stories about prior FBI events without names and places. Okay. If I have anything interesting that pops up, I'll tell you about it tomorrow.